Welcome to Reis das Artes Inimaginable Conversations. I'm your host, Almir Reis, visual artist and your guide through extraordinary art stories. Today, we're delving into the world of a painter whose mastery of light and realism transform portraiture forever. His works capture the soul of his subjects and immerse us in the Spanish court of the 17th century. Join me as we explore the brilliance of Diego Velásquez.
Thank you, Almir, for welcoming me to Reis das Artes. It is truly remarkable that, more than 3 centuries after my time, we can still gather through art and conversation. Throughout my life, I tried to capture not only the appearance of my subjects, but also their humanity, their character, and their place in history. I am delighted to share some of those experiences with your audience today. Thank you for having me. I look forward to our conversation.
It's a real pleasure to have you here today. To get our conversation started, I'd love to go back to the beginning. Tell us a little about your early years in Seville and what first drew you to painting. At what point did you realize that art would become your life's work?
Well, Almir, I was fortunate to grow up in Seville, one of the most vibrant cities in Spain during my youth. It was a place full of commerce, culture, and artistic influence from many parts of the world. From an early age, I found myself fascinated by observing people. Long before I understood painting, I was studying faces, gestures, expressions, and the way light transformed everything it touched. I entered the workshop of Francisco Pacheco while still very young, and it was there that I learned not only the craft of painting, but also the discipline and intellectual curiosity that every artist should cultivate. Looking back, I don't believe there was a single moment when I decided to become an artist. Rather, painting slowly became the way I understood the world. The more I painted, the more I realized that this was the path I was meant to follow.
You started training with Francisco Pacheco at a very young age, but I'm curious, did you always know painting would be your profession, or did that become clear to you over time?
Not at all. When you're a child, you don't think about professions the way adults do. I simply loved drawing and observing the world around me. As I spent more time in Pacheco's workshop, I began to understand that painting could be more than a passion. It could be a way of life. Little by little, that path became clearer, and eventually I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Diego, you've painted kings, nobles, servants, and ordinary people. What do you think all of them had in common?
That's an interesting question, Almir. Titles, wealth, and status may differ, but every person wants to be seen and understood. Whether it was a king or a servant, I always tried to look beyond appearances and capture something true about the individual. Perhaps that's what they all had in common. They were human beings. And that was always more interesting to me than their position in society.
When you started working for King Philip IV, did being at court help your creativity or make things more challenging?
It did both. The court gave me great opportunities and access to fascinating subjects. But it also came with responsibilities. I had to balance my artistic vision with the expectations of the king.
Your trips to Italy had a big impact on your career. What was the most important thing you learned there?
Italy exposed me to incredible art and new techniques. Almira. It taught me to observe light, space, and human expression in a deeper way, which influenced my later paintings.
In Las Meninas, you placed yourself within the painting, reflected the king and queen in a mirror, and invited the viewer into the scene. What inspired such an innovative composition? Were you simply portraying the royal family, or were you also exploring the nature of art itself? Who sees, who is seen, and how reality is represented?
My inspiration went beyond portraying the Infanta Margarita and the royal court. I wished to capture the complexity of reality and the art of painting itself. I wanted the viewer to question who is being portrayed, who is observing, and who is being observed. By placing myself within the composition, standing before my canvas, I sought to affirm the dignity of painting and the role of the artist within the court. The mirror reflecting their majesties is not merely a detail, it expands the space of the painting and draws the viewer into the scene. Las Meninas was conceived not only as a portrait of the royal family, but also as a meditation on vision, appearance, and truth. Painting can reveal not only what the eye sees, but also what the mind imagines. My intention was to create a work where reality and illusion exist together, leaving future generations to wonder where one ends and the other begins.
Velásquez, unlike most artists of your time, you enjoyed the privilege of working directly for the Spanish royal court. Do you believe that serving King Philip IV made your rise to fame easier, or did it simply provide you with better living conditions and the freedom to pursue your artistic vision?
Serving the court certainly granted me advantages that many artists never experienced. It provided financial stability, access to the most powerful figures in Spain, and opportunities to study some of the finest collections of art in Europe. However, proximity to the king did not guarantee greatness. The court was a demanding environment where every work was judged by nobles, diplomats, and scholars. I had to earn respect not only as a painter, but as a thinker. My position allowed me to live more comfortably than many of my contemporaries, yet it also placed upon me the responsibility of representing a kingdom and its image. Fame may have become more attainable because of my circumstances, but enduring recognition depends on the quality of one's work. In the end, the court opened the door, but it was the paintings themselves that had to justify my place in history.
Your paintings are now considered priceless treasures and are displayed in some of the world's most important museums and collections. What do you think about the immense value and global recognition your work has achieved?
I never painted for wealth or fame. My goal was to create the finest work I could. If my paintings are valued today, I hope it is not because of their price, but because they continue to move and inspire people. To know that they are preserved and admired around the world is a greater honour than any fortune.
If you had to choose the three most important artists in the history of art, who would they be and why?
I would choose Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Titian. Leonardo revealed the union of art and knowledge, showing that painting could explore the mysteries of nature and the human mind. Michelangelo elevated the human figure to a level of grandeur and power rarely seen before or since. Titian, my great inspiration, mastered colour, light and emotion, bringing life and nobility to every subject he painted. Each transformed the course of art in a unique way, and all who came after them, myself included, learned from their genius.
Velásquez, before we conclude, I would like to ask about an artist who came centuries after you. In 1957, Pablo Picasso created an entire series of paintings inspired by your masterpiece Las Meninas, reinterpreting it through his own modern artistic vision. What do you think about Picasso revisiting and transforming one of your most iconic works?
I would consider it one of the highest compliments an artist can receive. Picasso did not copy Las Meninas. He entered into a dialogue with it. He looked at my work through the eyes of his own century and discovered new meanings within it. Art should not remain frozen in time. Each generation must reinterpret the past and bring its own vision to what came before. If my painting inspired Picasso to create something new, then it fulfilled one of the greatest purposes of art, to continue living through the imagination of others. I painted Las Meninas for my time. Picasso painted his Las Meninas for his. Together, they remind us that great art never truly belongs to one century alone.
Master Diego Velásquez, it has been an immense honor to welcome you to Kings of the Arts. On behalf of our audience, I sincerely thank you for sharing your life, your work, and your artistic legacy with us. Before we conclude, I would like to ask you for one final message to the followers of our channel.
To all lovers of art, Almir, I leave you with a simple piece of advice. Learn to observe carefully. True art is found not only in the skill of the hand, but in the ability to see the world with sensitivity, curiosity, and understanding. Do not be afraid to study the great masters of the past, but never forget to seek your own voice. Every generation has something new to contribute, and art remains alive because it constantly renews itself. If my paintings still hold value today, it is because they continue to invite people to look, to think, and to feel. May you never lose that ability. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we had the privilege of speaking with one of the greatest geniuses in the history of art, Diego Velásquez. If you enjoyed this interview, please subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and share this episode with fellow art enthusiasts around the world. I am Almir Rice, and this has been another episode of Kings of the Arts. Until next time, bye-bye.
Velásquez dialogaba con los grandes maestros Caravaggio y Rivera, representantes de